Hey everyone, welcome to Up Next. You know how we do it, just having conversations with some of the voices shaping the global Afro electronic music culture. And on today's episode, I've got my bro August. How you doing, bro?
What's up? What's up? Doing very well. Excited to be on this as well, and excited to see you starting the podcast too.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. Did I pronounce your name right though?
Yes, so it's a lot of people say August, which is cool.
Uh,
The proper way of saying it is Auguste, which I know is
uh,
hard to say. So I roll with August a lot, which is cool.
Auguste? Did I Auguste?
Auguste, Auguste.
Oh,
It's
okay,
a
okay,
French
okay.
name. It's a weird French name.
It's good. So, are you from France or you were born here?
Yeah, man. So I'll give you happy to give you a quick rundown.
Uh,
So was born in France. My dad is French and my mom is from Martinique,
uh,
which is a Caribbean island, French though.
oh,
And spent 6 years in France from like 0 to 6, and then moved to Singapore, which is actually where I spent most of my life.
wow.
So from 6 up until the age of like 17, 18, I was in Singapore, and that's kind of where I started making music because Singapore is a very safe but boring place. So
Uh,
it was I had a lot of time. So did a lot of music there as I was growing up. Started when I was 12 years old, and then moved to the UK to do my studies. That's
wow.
where I went to University of Bath, and after that, got a job in the US. So that's actually why I moved to the US initially, before obviously transitioning to music.
Wow, that's a lot of moving. You've moved like
Yeah, dude. Most time I spent was in Singapore. That's where I grew up.
oh, so Singapore is the place.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
So it was like 6 to 18 was in Singapore. But obviously spent a lot of time in France because that's where my family's from. So every holiday we would go back to France.
okay, nice. When I was reading like your press kit, it says you have Caribbean root. So
Yeah.
where did the Caribbean root come from?
So that's for my mom. So
Oh,
yeah, so Martinique is in the Caribbean. That's basically where she grew up. And then when she was a little kid, and then she went to Paris when she was younger. So my grandmother as well, she owned a club in Martinique. That's kind of what she was
wow,
doing. So that's where it comes from, I guess.
that's crazy.
Um, and yeah, she was doing that in Martinique for a long time, and then she moved to Marseille, which is another city in France. But yeah, that's kind of where the Caribbean side comes from. So
Oh,
that's where a lot of my music is inspired as well. A lot from my mom's side. Um,
uh-huh.
I'd say the house side is a lot more from my dad's side, but the my mom's side is definitely the Afro side.
Wow, that's crazy. So let's
Thank you, bro.
let's let's take it back a little. Like you've been moving a lot, like on the road, like this past few months, you've been going from places to places. Like what's going on in your world like lately?
Yeah, man. So it's been pretty crazy. The main things that I'm working on right now that I'm really excited for is my EP. So
Uh,
just signed with Empire. So doing an EP with them. It'll be a 6 to 8 track EP. I'm still working on it right now. That's what I'm fully into every day.
huge,
I have
huge.
the first singles, which I'll be announcing soon, hopefully in a few weeks. I have some fun remixes as well coming up before that. Two different remixes, and then a bunch of shows. So I'm playing. I'm doing a lot of Europe shows throughout the summer. My goal is to really focus on Europe through the next 2 3 months.
Uh-huh.
And then after that, also push the US, continue pushing that. The show I'm most excited for is the one in Lagos. So August 2nd, going to
Oh,
Lagos. That's going to be a crazy one. I think it's like 3,000 people, and it's
wow.
by far like one of my biggest demographics. So
That's
really, really excited for that one, and worked with a bunch of singers there as well. So trying to bring them all out for the show, which is going to be crazy.
crazy.
So yeah, man, those are some of the exciting stuff. And I'd say the last few months as well, it just finished touring the US, which was also pretty crazy. It was my first like official tour.
Wow.
So that was a lot of traveling, which obviously everyone tells you, but when it's you experience it, it's like a whole different ball game.
Hmm.
But I loved it. I loved every single second of it. And the cool thing is I produce like on the road. That's where I make the best music. So I actually got to produce a lot, which was nice too.
Wow. That's crazy, bro. You have a lot going on and coming because you just mentioned like the Lagos gig, Empire, bro.
Thank you, man.
You're moving at a very fast pace, like going crazy, boom, 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 boom.
Thank you, bro.
And
It's so crazy because it feels slow for me.
Oh,
I feel like I should be moving quicker, but I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
because I've been like following for like a while now, and I'm a big fan. If I'm like being honest, I'm a big fan because
Thank you, bro.
I came across your music like last year, and looking at from the point I like knew you last year to now, it's been an there's been huge upgrade. Like you're
Thank you,
now
my G.
touring, creating music. So how did like the music part start? Like how did you start making music?
Yeah,
Did it
man.
start?
So it's been like a crazy long process. I started like when I was 12, 13 years old in Singapore when I was a bored teenager. So my parents didn't let me, I wasn't allowed to have a console. So I was not allowed to have a
Oh,
PS5, not allowed to have anything. The only thing I
really?
was allowed was my computer, which I was so pissed off at the time because I was like, damn, everyone else is gaming.
That's crazy.
But I was actually pretty happy because in hindsight, it kind of helped me or forced me to find another hobby,
Uh-huh.
which was music. So 13 years old, started producing. I think my biggest inspirations at the time were like Kygo,
Wow.
Avicii. I was like very into that style, so very melodic, which you can probably still hear in my music. I just love melodies. That's always what I've been into. And I also got classically trained on the piano from a pretty young age. So had piano lessons for ages. And the growing up in Singapore, the culture there, like learning an instrument is like super strict. So it's like fully like a finger like hitting your
Whoa.
like a pen hitting your fingers if you're like playing the wrong note. So like I spent a lot of time learning the piano and like making sure that I'm good there too.
Uh-huh.
But it was obviously just for fun. So I from like 12, 13 all the way up until I was probably like 21, 22. It
Uh-huh.
was just for fun, just making music, a lot of bad music as well, especially at the start. It takes time.
It happens to
So
everybody, bro.
yeah, dude, it takes so much time. So I started on FL Studio. I'm still on FL Studio,
Uh-huh.
and yeah, that's kind of how I started. I was doing more house, let's say pure house, kind of stuff, melodic as well. And then I'd say about 4 or 5 years ago, I started doing a little bit more Afro-oriented house. I wouldn't call it Afro house because I think it wasn't it was just a genre that I didn't really know what I was doing. I just kind of was following instinct in a way, because obviously aside from the piano, the other instrument I learned or percussion was the djembe when I was super young. So
Wow.
I've always had that in me. So I was always thinking it'd be kind of cool to mix the two, but I was young, so I didn't really know all the cultures and everything, and all the different sounds going on at the time. So I was just kind of doing what I thought sounded good. And then I
Uh-huh.
saw Black Coffee. Then that's kind of
Whoa.
I saw Black Coffee play, and after that I was like, damn, okay, there's like an actual space for this. And then that's kind of when I went full throttle because I'd been working on that kind of sound for like years,
Yeah.
but never really thought how, or I could never visualize how it would sound in the market. And then seeing Black Coffee play it, and see that kind of sound, it kind of, I fell in love with it and realized that there can really be something that can be done there.
Yeah.
So then, yeah, push that like crazy. And
Wow.
maybe like 2 years after that, then Solitude got released, which was like my first track that did pretty well, um, in the more Afrohouse scene. And yeah, man, the cool thing is because I'd been producing for years, like even if my like ideas weren't super polished back in the day, like I have so many
Yeah.
ideas even from back in the day that I still revisit sometimes.
Wow. Bro, you started as fun and now you're like one of like I would say one of the top artists in the scene now. So it's crazy. And your sound that you've like I don't know the name I'll call it, but you've started this new like movement of sound with the I'll say Afrohouse and Afrobeat.
Mm-hmm.
You've like find a way to like mix those two together, then add
Thank you,
the
bro.
Caribbean groove also to it. So how did that like how do you come across the sound? Because I know you said like you don't have a name or what you idea of what you're doing, but you know this is what you want to make. So
Yeah,
how do you come across the sound? Because you have
dude.
the
Yeah.
Asake remix, Bojo remix, Black Sheriff, you have the one with Timmy. So how did the whole sound come across?
Yeah, dude, that's a good question. It was again, it was purely from like a like approach. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie. Like I was just in love with just Afrobeats from
Uh-huh.
I don't know how long. Asake was like always one of my favorite singers.
Uh-huh.
So it really started from like a pure place of just like being a fan of the music. and trying to figure out a way to like incorporate that in my music. Again, at the time, like I didn't want to put any labels on it
Yeah.
because I just wanted to make my own sound, and work with artists that I just really, really like.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is like the Ashake Basquiat original
That
was
was a
like
crazy
my top.
remix.
Thank you, bro. But the original is like my top played song for like 2 years in a row. So like on Spotify Wrapped where you get like the
Yeah.
consumer one where you get all the different top tracks. Like
Yeah.
mine was Basquiat every single like for 2 years in a row. And I listened to that song like every single day. So again it really came from a place of just like absolutely loving the music. And then the funny thing is like that remix I
Yeah.
kind of made a song. I'm not gonna lie. And I love the like I listened to Basquiat so many times that
Mhm.
I started singing the lyrics over the song, and I
The
was like,
song.
"Holy shit, this can work!" And then I put the vocal over it, and like it was done. So it was basically like that remix happened over 2 nights. Like I made the
Wow.
instrumental one night, and then did the like added the vocal and everything the night after, and then it was done. Um, so I think it was like really just like loving the music because
Mhm.
obviously if I wasn't obsessed with it I don't
Yeah.
think I would have randomly come up with the idea.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that was really from a place of just loving it. And then
Mhm.
obviously the Benson one and the Black Sharif one came after that
Yeah.
because obviously the Ashake one opened a lot of doors. But they were all on my list, which is crazy. Like because I have
Wow.
a good friend that we list like we send music to each other all the time. He's called Johan. And
Mhm.
every car ride together, we'd always listen to Benson, Black Sharif, Ashake, and we'd
Wow.
just rip all the songs from all the different albums. And it's crazy that like after a year, I was able to remix a few of them. But again, it's just like pure fan. Like I'm just a pure fan, still a huge fan. Every time they drop a new song, I'm like super excited. So yeah, it's really cool to like be able to have like a little bit of like a an impact in a scene that I'm like such a huge fan of. But it
Yeah.
was never like an intention of like mixing Afro beats with Afro house. If I'm being honest, it
Wow.
was again just like I love Afro beats and I kind of want to put my touch on it, and it happened to be that, but it was the intention was just again working with artists that I really like and kind of seeing where it takes me.
Yeah, that's why everything is coming together now. You have a gig in Lagos, you have
Yes, sir.
big like if you know the amount of fans you have in Lagos, because every like I grew up in Lagos, so I have friends that I'm like, are you into Afrohouse? They'd be like, no, but there's this guy we always listen to, Auguste. I'm like, oh, really? You know Auguste? I'm like, yeah, they know him. So your sound is doing something in Lagos, especially when I was growing up. I didn't know there was an electronic scene in Nigeria, but
Yeah,
over the few years that I moved here and I start like looking back, there's a lot of like electronic scene and they're playing your song everywhere. I'm like, now you're doing like something. And when I spoke
thank
to
you, bro.
Wesley, he like he said you're one of like the artists to watch in 2025 because you have a lot of copycat because of your sound. So
Thank
the
you.
sound is doing something crazy. So let's talk about how like Dab helped you to get to like this stage because you've now you're working with Empire
Yeah.
like and they have like also like connections with Afrobeat artists. So is that what helped you or you think it's just like your love for the sound? I don't know if you understand.
Interesting. So like, are you asking like what helped me get Empire? Basically, is it
Yeah.
more? So yeah, I think the way it kind of worked is because Ashake was signed to Empire at the time,
Yeah.
Benson I think is still signed to Empire, and so is Black Sharif.
Hmm.
Like I worked with them quite a bit before doing a deal with them myself.
Oh,
So we did like one-off deals for the songs for the remixes basically, and then really liked working with them, especially like Caleb and Moody. Those are the two that I worked with a lot. And again, we could see that there was a good vibe between all of us, and that's
yeah.
kind of how we made it. We realized we could definitely do something cool. And the best part is like I feel like they let me explore as much creative freedom as I want, which for
Yeah.
me is like the most important because I just want to be as creative as possible, test out a bunch of different sounds,
Hmm.
and then kind of go from there. So I think the thing that brought me to like being able to do the Empire deal, to be honest, um, on the product side is definitely just the sound that I have and it's unique. But
Hmm.
the source of it is because again, I just love Afro beats and love that sound. And I think you can tell when someone is trying to just do an Afrobeats remix or if they really, really like the song. So I'm like super particular on the songs I remixed, and I've turned down like way too many just because I need to like really feel the song to be able to make a good remix, and I wouldn't
Yeah.
do a remix if it's just because to do a remix. Like I have to really vibe with the original too.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, and I think that translates to like the quality of the music because if you're feeling it, then hopefully some other people feel it, and that's kind of how it started, and the domino effect started too there.
Yeah. And also, like you've been on tour with also another Empire artist, Abiba Beats. So how did
Yes.
that collaboration come across?
Yeah, dude, that guy is a legend. So we did the whole tour together.
Yeah.
And it was his tour, and I was opening at all the different places
Yeah.
for him, which was actually really fun. Openings is like a very different task than like headlining a show.
Oh,
So it was like a cool juxtaposition. Like one week I would be headlining, and then one week I'd be opening. And I did that for like 2 months,
that's
and
crazy.
it was crazy. It was such a cool experience. Honestly, I loved it. Opening is like actually so fun, because it's like reading the crowd in a different way, and like your whole
Hmm.
way that you play is different. Um, and especially when you're playing and you're like opening the room,
Yeah.
and it's a 4,000 person room, and there's like five people in the room at the start. It's
Yeah.
like a whole different vibe than coming on stage when the thing is fully packed already.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that was a crazy experience, and the way it came about. So me and AB, which is Habibi's name, he we met in we did one show together in LA exactly like a year ago. It was his
Yeah.
show where I opened for him because his management reached out to me, and we're
Hmm.
now under the same management, so grass fed. And they found me, signed with them before I signed with Empire. They kind of helped me
Yeah.
navigate that. Um, and then after that, we kept talking because he's such a nice guy. Like he's literally one of the nicest guys I've met in the scene.
Wow.
So we just kept talking, and then we saw each other again in Costa Rica for a BPM festival, where we played. That festival got canceled, and
Yeah,
I
I
guess
saw that too.
the yeah, that was a whole crazy story. But then the cool part is we got to spend like a lot of time together.
Yeah.
So like every day we'd be together. We'd go to every single after party together because there would be no actual party. So I guess the after party became the main party. So we
Hmm.
spent just a bunch of time together. The vibe was super cool. He's like just such a nice guy that it's hard to not get along with him. And after that, they came towards me and asked if I wanted to do the opening for all his US tour shows. And that was with Live Nation. So I was like, hell yeah, that's a huge opportunity. So did that, and yeah, we just finished that probably 2 weeks ago. But I loved it. It was a really cool experience. Obviously, the goal is to keep growing, but experiencing that opening kind of vibe for big rooms and having the opportunity to play in those big rooms is like something I'll always be like super grateful for, and I'll never forget. And we had such a good time. Like every city, a different city every day,
That's
but
crazy.
with a group of people is just so fun.
That's a huge achievement because not everybody gets the chance to go on tour and do what they love every week. Because before it's just like sometimes once a week, sometimes once a month gig, but now you have to do it like every week. So how
Yeah,
was the life on the road? Like how do you like
dude,
the
it's
experience, the
crazy.
struggle, everything?
Yeah, man, it's crazy. I really like it. I'm not gonna lie. Before I started, because as you said before, I was probably doing like one show per week max.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't be like crazy traveling, but this one was like nonstop.
Hmm.
So I was a little anxious at the start because I was like, I hope I like it because if I'm to be successful,
Yeah.
it's definitely something that I have to do. And yeah, it was crazy. I think that the craziest part that we had was um like balancing, for me at least, was balancing again my shows with the tour. So like for example, I think we did like 3 cities in 3 nights.
Hmm.
I think it was I'm definitely getting it wrong, but I think it was like Montreal, then Boston, and then Brooklyn, and
Wow.
then the day after I had to fly to Ibiza. No, sorry, the day after I had to fly to Paris for the
Yeah.
Vuvuzela music video, and then the day after I had to fly to Ibiza for IMS, and then the day after I had to fly back to Paris, and then the day after I had to fly back to the US to do two other shows. I think it was like it was DC and another one that I'm forgetting. But yeah, it was so like in the span of like I don't know how many days, it was just like nonstop traveling, and it was the first time I experienced that.
Mhm.
It was hard. It was hard. I think the hardest part for me is definitely like exercising. If I'm being honest, because like when I'm like living in a routine, I love exercising and I exercise like crazy. Like that's something I just like doing. So I think in future tours, I want to find like a way to be able to exercise more. Because I think it just makes you feel better as well.
Yeah.
Because like arriving in the hotel room every single time, you're so dead. So I would probably either sleep or make music, but
Mhm.
I need to find a way to be better at that. I think that was the biggest challenge for me was just being balanced. But I think every artist kind of goes through that once they start touring. Um,
Definitely.
and as more as the tour went along, the more balance I got. So I started getting better habits as well and like being used to it a bit more. But at the
Mhm.
start it was hard. At the start it was hard to figure it out because you just be tired all the time. So you just have to be used to always being tired. That's the thing I've realized.
Bro, you're killing it. You're killing it. And if you guys don't know, August gave me my first gig as an Afrohouse DJ in the
Yes,
Bay
sir.
Area. So thank you, bro, for the opportunity.
Of course,
You're the
bro.
one that
And
put
you
me on.
killed it.
Thank you so much. You put me on, and you're at a what do you call, like, at a level now, and you're still able with that because not everybody, like, I've seen producers, I've seen DJs, they get to that stage and they just like don't care about what's going on with others anymore. But you still like, you're my show, you gave me opportunity to support my song.
Hell
So
yeah, bro.
thank you so much, bro.
Of course, dude. Always.
Yeah. And you made your first music video with Club Record and with Timmy. So how is your experience with the music video? Because not every Afro House DJ or producer makes music videos, so that's something new. So how did the
Yeah,
idea
dude.
come across?
Yeah. Wait. First, let me give you a quick shout out because yeah, when I booked you for that show in SF,
Yeah,
like I just really liked your vibes, dude.
thank you
I
so
really
much.
liked all the music that you sent me as well. I thought it was really
Yeah,
high quality. And as I grow, like for me, like people say it's like staying humble. For me, it's just like I love music. So I think music kind of keeps you humble in a way.
yeah,
Because if you just love music, you're always gonna like be listening to new music. Like I just want to be listening to music all the time if I'm not making music. So I think having that kind of keeps you connected with everyone, finding new artists. That's
yeah,
kind of how I found you because I loved your music. Um, what was it? It was that one that you released with on Diamond Dealer's label. That's the one
yeah.
I remember that I
Priyanka,
really liked. Yeah,
thank you.
yeah, yeah. That was I remember that and yeah, dude, like for me, I'm super open to like you know just listening to new music, discovering new artists, and working with new artists too. So I think that's something that's super important to me that I'll keep doing. So yeah, I
Mhm.
think for you, that's kind of how we met, and I'm super excited to see how you're gonna keep growing too.
Thank you so much.
But yeah, for the music video,
Yeah,
that was like fully me forcing it. I'm not gonna lie. Like all the odds were stacked against us, and I still like I was like I need a music video because no one in the Afro House space has done a music video yet.
yeah,
Um, or they've done like there's been like a few music videos, but like not enough in my opinion. Like that's just something that's so cool.
yeah,
Especially when I was growing up, I listened to a lot of rap, and like the music video is like what made the song sometimes. So I was like, we have to do a music video. The cool thing is, Club, the label that we released with,
yeah,
was super open to it as well and super supportive, and that helped because obviously there's a budget required for a music video, so very grateful with regards to that. And the hard part is obviously again because there's not that many Afro house music videos, there's
mhm,
not much points of reference that you can take. But I kind of saw that as an opportunity because I'm like, okay, not a lot of people have done it. I think the only other music video I've seen, and I could be wrong and have not seen others, but was the one I think is Emmanuel Jal and I think he did one like recently that was also really cool.
with Bon Sapa.
Um I think it was that one, right? Did they do a music
Yeah,
video?
yeah, I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
so.
that was a fire music video. So yeah, that was the other one that I saw, but there's not that many. So I was
Yeah,
like, I think it's something cool and unique that we can do. Um but it was hard because first of all getting Timmy
mhm,
to fly to Paris
of
is
course.
was like a whole experience because he had to get a visa and everything.
Yeah,
And because it's not like a club booking or anything, like it's literally just me. Like I had to get him through the whole process for the visa, and that was a whole process basically. And there's so many times where the music video almost didn't happen because of some visa things or just because of costs. But
Wow.
I forced it. I forced it to happen. And then it was supposed to be in it changed location so many times. The initial dream that I had was filming
Hmm.
it in Lagos. Like that's where I wanted to
Whoa.
go to Lagos and film it there. Um, but it was just so hard. Like we explored like every opportunity for that, and weirdly, it cost way more to film in Lagos than in Paris.
Wow.
So we were just like, okay. So we flew Timmy out, and then we filmed everything in one day. And as I mentioned, like the day before I had a show, and the day after I had to fly to Ibiza. So we had like very specific times to video, and I was dead because I was like jet lagged and done 3 shows in a row. Like I was cooked. But as soon as Timmy arrived, it was our first time meeting, even though we'd like talked so much. And he brought the vibes. He brought the vibes. The energy was there.
Shout out to me.
The yeah, dude, Timmy's a G. He's funny. He tried his first croissant. I can't believe he's never had a croissant before. So
Really?
when he was in, yeah. So we bought him like he met my dad as well because my dad is in Paris. So we
Oh.
brought him to get a croissant, pain au chocolat as well.
Oh.
And yeah, it was sick to just see like him experience like Paris because he's never seen Paris before.
Wow.
Um, so yeah, that was like an amazing experience, probably the highlight of the whole experience for me.
Oh.
Um, and yeah, the video itself was a long shoot. It was like 9 hours, I think.
Yeah.
There's like 3 people involved. Nick Welch was the person who was primarily editing the video. And then there's DPs. I think his name was Ricardo, and he had another friend with him that was helping out too. I'm sorry that I forgot his name.
It's
But yeah,
good, man.
they were super nice, and we had like the best time together because we were on set together for like 9 hours, walking around different places in Paris. And just to make it even easier for us, we decided to do the whole thing on film rather than digital. So that was also just a whole experience because you have to be super conscious of like exposure of the
Yeah.
actual film. So we had to carry around a tent everywhere
Wow.
to make sure that the film wasn't gonna get destroyed. So yeah, it was a crazy experience. I loved it. I definitely want to do more. I
Wow.
definitely want to do a lot on film because I think film just has a different vibe to it. Um, and yeah, I think the only thing is it's gonna take a bit of time to grow and to introduce music videos is like a viable promotion tool for the Afrohouse scene. Like it's a new thing.
Yeah.
So I know it's going to take time, but I want to be consistent and do a lot of music videos as well. Especially for my EP, I want to drop music videos and I want to be known to drop sick music videos.
Bro, the music video was great.
Thank you,
I watched it the second you put it out because I was like, I need to go see it.
bro.
And it was sick. Like the whole camera angle, the whole quality was just like, was super, bro. You did a really
Thank
good
you,
job
man.
there.
Thank
And
you, bro.
I think there was this podcast of Manu and Anthony that I watched. They were saying something about you, like you're one of the guys in the Afrohouse scene that like put out contents, and you also fly your own photographer for every gig you do. How do you
Yes,
manage to do that? Because it's not something that is easy to do, like financing, like the photographer, the
it's hard.
video, your music. So how do you do it?
Yeah, dude. So financially, it's definitely not the best short-term option. I'll be completely honest with you.
Yeah.
Um, but I do think content is super important. Like I see it the same way as like I don't know a YouTuber who needs to have fire content. Um, so he needs to invest. He needs to keep reinvesting in this channel so that the channel keeps growing. I see like an artist the same way as like a channel. It's like something that you just got to keep growing, and the way to keep growing is to reinvest.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna lie, dude. There's so many shows where I lost money because I would actually be flying myself, obviously, and I'd be flying my videographer as well. Um, but I always thought content will outdo the small losses at the start. And it worked because as I did more shows, the quality of the content obviously also continued growing because the videographer that I have, he's called Brendan. He started with me. Like
Wow.
he was doing video and stuff before, but like nothing serious. And I hit him up when had my first international gig. It was in London, and I was like, "Yo, you're gonna come to London with me, and you're gonna film this set." And then he basically that was the first time that he properly did it. And we've been sticking together ever since. I basically like we worked together. So as I was coming up and doing more shows, he was also
Mm-hmm.
coming up and getting better on the camera, and now he's a freaking beast on the camera.
Sick.
But yeah, it's like an investment of like financial, obviously, like tickets and everything, but also time, because I knew that his footage was going to improve, and now we're
Mm-hmm.
just like at a great balance together. Obviously, now it's a little bit more financially, what's the word? It makes more sense.
Yeah.
Just because now, yeah, now I'm able to group more shows together, so then I can fly with him, and yeah, so it's just been sick. And then I also have another videographer called Yanis in Europe, so I found another guy too that's just super sick. So yeah, it was like a conscious decision I made at the very start that I really wanted to push the content. And again, same thing as a music video. It's just because, like, for me, it just makes everything so much more interactive and immersive, and that's like the
Yeah.
most important thing for me. So I was very particular about the content, especially at the start.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, now we have like a good rhythm. We keep posting all the time. The hard thing for me is like always finding new ideas. So that's like the thing that I'm always trying to think about, because it's like finding that right balance between like things that work but they're not too cringe at the same
Uh-huh.
time. So, and still like being artistic. So yeah, that I'd say like now the biggest challenge for me is really figuring out interesting new video content that we can make, because there's only so much show content that you can do.
Yeah, definitely. And content is key because if you make good content, you have a good brand, then you get more gigs, you get more
Dude,
collabs, everything. So
yes.
content is
I
everything.
think yeah, like I think every time I posted like a show, like a good quality show content, I
Yeah.
would get like at least a few booking inquiries just from that. So when I saw that happen, I was like, okay, this is a no-brainer. Like we have to push this as much as possible. And then obviously like when the Asake remix happened, and that kind of went crazy, then I also pushed the social media as much as I could,
Yeah.
because obviously that was a huge opportunity. Um, and yeah, I like it would be a shame to not use it in the, because it's small pockets, like it's always small pockets of like excitement that people have for you.
Yeah.
So I think social media is like a good way of like maximizing those small pockets in a way.
Yeah, that's true. Out of the song you've like released, which one of those songs is your favorite? Like which one? If you should look at
Yeah, that's
all
a
the
good
songs.
question. Oh, that's a good question. Okay, I think Solitude will always have like a special place for me. Because without Solitude, there'd be nothing else. Like honestly, before Solitude, I was literally like I had a 9 to 5, and I would just make music at night. And Solitude was one that I started after a night of work, basically. Um, so that kind of like what's pushed me to like it forced me to go to the next level, basically. Um, and after that, what's like one song that I really love, but it didn't do that well.
Oh,
It's called "I Have a Confession." I don't even know if you know it. It got released on Connected. Like it didn't pop off or anything, but it's just like the lyrics are sick. But it's like a poetic song, so it's actually like speaking. And I
and
know
that
those songs don't always do go crazy, but I think the meaning behind it was so sick. Yeah, I think that's one of my like personal favorites, but it's definitely not one that like popped
uh,
off or changed my career or anything.
so Solitude and I Have a Confession. Those two songs.
Yes.
No. My own
Yes.
favorite song is Tomorrow. That
Thank you,
song
bro.
is sick. That was
Thank you.
the first song that got me into your sound. So that's my favorite
Thank
song.
you, bro. Dude, I
So
love that one too. It's hard to pick. I guess like I not in a like I actually I wouldn't release a song if I didn't love the song, if
yeah,
I'm
I
being honest.
understand.
So
Yeah.
I like all of them. I just think yeah, the like I Have a Confession is just like a unique thing.
Hmm.
But actually, dude, I also really like Porto Vecchio. That's another song I really like.
Oh.
That was one maybe that one more than I Have a Confession. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh.
But again, it didn't like the funny thing is the other song on the EP, Silent Echoes, did better than Porto Vecchio.
Yeah.
But Porto Vecchio is like one of my like the ones I'm pretty proud of, because there's like a cool mixture of like blues scale piano,
Yeah.
like
Jam.
log drums and everything. So yeah, I vibe with that one too. But Tomorrow, dude, the funny thing is it went through like so many versions. Yeah,
Really?
yeah, that version I made in like a few days. Because before that it was another version, and we'd been waiting a year for the release on my other side.
Uh-huh.
And like over that 1 year, like my production skills just like improved a lot. And then I was like, oh shit, okay, I need to like revamp it. And I only had like a few days because then they would send it out to the distributors. So
Uh,
I had to like make it in a few days.
wow,
And dude, that one, I think, yeah, it came to me very quick. I was in London, actually. I remember I was on the couch in London when I made it.
that's crazy. I was going through like your catalog of music and I was checking, and I've seen since 2022. For each year, you put out 6 projects. I don't know if I'm wrong, but that's what I've seen on your Spotify. Does that have to do something with you, or you just don't know? Like,
I ain't gonna lie, that's a coincidence.
oh,
Yeah, I think my goal is just to be as consistent as possible, and it takes a bit of time to find your footing. Because I don't think six is enough. I want to be releasing like once a month. Like that's what I want to be releasing. And I'm getting there. I'm not there yet. I think I'm at like probably 8 to 9 releases per year now. But then there's also the EP.
yeah,
Um, so I guess I've always been intentional on releasing as much quality music as possible, but in like in a smart way. Um, and letting the tracks breathe, I think is also really important.
yeah,
So whenever you see a track is picking up traction, I think there's no point releasing another track a few weeks after. I think it's important to let it breathe. So yeah, I think at the time, six per year was honestly a coincidence.
mm,
Uh, but I think it's just a product of like just trying to release and being consistent. Because at the beginning you're at the mercy of like the label schedule in a way.
yeah,
So it's not like I could control exactly when they would be released and everything. But yeah, I think it's for me it's just the output to the labels. I want that to be as much as possible, and that can hopefully translate to as many releases as possible
yeah,
that are successful.
yeah. You've been going crazy in this year because this year alone, I think you have like 5 songs already. So
Yeah, I think I have a lot already.
you're
It's not enough.
so
I want more. I want more, dude. I
uh,
like I'm always producing, so it's
bro.
like I
We
always
want
wanted, yeah.
more. We want
Thank
more.
you, bro.
Yeah, bro. So you're also like an A&R for Palo Santo, right?
Yes.
So you're still like working with them. I know you're a DJ, you're with Palo Santo also. So how did the collaboration with Palo Santo come on?
Yeah, so Palo Santo came like the original relationship came through a close friend of mine called Elen,
Mhm.
who introduced me to Octave, whose name is Alex,
Yeah.
who's the founder of Palo Santo. And met him, great vibes. We got along very quickly. I did a first show with him. It was like a small show, but it went really well. And then after that, they offered if they could be my agency for the US. So that's
Uh,
how the relationship started. So they started managing all my bookings for the US. Obviously, at the time, there wasn't like a crazy amount of bookings. So it was like it was a great start, and the vibe was really really good. That's I think for me a really important thing. Like me and Alex spent hours on the phone together every
uh,
week. We still talk a lot. And then yeah, after that, then they Alex was telling me he wants to grow Palo Santo more, so he started the agency, and that's
yeah.
been growing like crazy now. Like they have a lot more people working in the agency now, a lot more artists too. So it's really cool to see that growing because I think I don't want to be wrong, but I think I was their first artist on the agency.
Okay.
And then at the same time, yeah, he was like, I want to start a record label, and I was like, I've always wanted to start a record label. Um, Obviously it's his record label, but I think it was really good experience for me if one day I do want to have my own label to be the A&R of a label just to see how it
Mhm.
works. So I can't say that I'm doing like a crazy amount of work for them. Like Alex is doing most of the heavy lifting. The thing I do is the thing I enjoy, which is listening to music and figuring out tracks that I think are fire and then proposing them to the label.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna take any credit away from Alex because he's the one. He's like the master behind the grind. I'm just listening to music and sending it to him because I do get a lot of like promos and demos, so it's like a
Uh-huh.
good channel to source new music. Um, but like everything from distribution to promotion, that's Alex. He's grinding on that. I don't know how he does it. I don't know how he has the time. But yeah, that's the big part that he's pushing. I guess at least doing that has shown me how hard it is to have a label too, like a successful label,
Yeah.
and it takes time to grow. But it's cool to see how well Palo Santo's label is doing, like after just like a little bit more than a year.
And the event has been massive in New York and they've been doing
Yeah.
crazy things. So that's good. Do you still have a 9 to 5 job? Oh no.
Nah, bro.
Oh,
Yeah, I can't anymore.
uh,
I can't anymore. So it's yeah. I still do like a bit of part time and a bit of work just because I actually enjoy what I do
uh,
on the other side too. but it's just impossible with touring and everything. And I want to have some balance. And I think I always want to produce quality music. And I think to
Mhm.
have quality music, you need to have like peace of mind and you need to have some time to yourself too. So that's something that I'm prioritizing a lot too.
Okay. So lastly, do you have
Tell me.
any collaboration coming, like a date we should expect something from you, or no?
Damn. Uh, there's a lot I want to say. Uh,
Mm.
there's a lot that's not official yet that I don't want to
No,
jinx, so I'm not
it's
gonna
good.
say yet.
It's
But
good, bro.
there's some really cool collabs coming. Yeah, damn. I don't wanna ruin the collab, so I don't want to say anything yet.
It's good, bro.
uh, but you'll see. There's like there's I think there's two or three like big collabs I'm really excited for. With some of my favorite artists actually.
Mhm.
Um, and I think a date to look forward to in June is I'm releasing a remix for Systech on Third Brain. MIA in Miami. I finished that remix. It's about to we're about to get the master, so I hope it sounds good.
Wow,
But yeah, I think
definitely.
that's the next date to look forward to. I think it's June 6th, but again, I don't want to cap, but I think it's
Yeah,
June
sure.
6th. And yeah, so that's gonna be the next release.
Okay.
Yeah, and the one that I just released with Nico de Andrea as well a few weeks ago. That one I like that I was super happy with that one because Nico is one of my favorite artists.
Wow.
Super nice guy too, such a good DJ as well. So and he's been so supportive of me for like 2-3 years now. So finally doing a track together was a really nice full circle moment. And yeah, I just love his music too.
Nice. So we've got a lot of food to eat this year.
Yes,
So
sir. Yes, and then there's an EP. So that's just a bunch of music that's gonna come out. Um, there's even like some like weird hybrids I'm like testing out. I don't know if it's gonna make it on the EP, but like for example, yesterday I was trying to do like a garage track with
wow.
Afro vocals, which sounded kind of cool. But yeah, there's like I don't know if it's gonna make it in the EP, but I'm just trying like so much different sounds and things like that.
Right. Anything you put out, we definitely like it. So just
Thank you,
give us
bro.
anything. Yeah. So
Thank you.
thank thank you, bro, for coming on the show today and
Of
sharing
course,
your
bro.
story. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, man. Really appreciate it. Excited for everything that you're gonna be doing too. And I'll see you soon, bro.
Mm. Thank you guys for
Peace.
listening. This is Up Next, and we have